What up, everybody? BMF Season 1 and 2, Meech and T's primary op was Lamar Silas, wrecking chaos in the Flannery brothers' lives after getting out of the mental institution and wanting to reclaim his former territory. Lamar also primarily had a problem with Meech because Meech was smashing his baby mama Monique, until Lamar ended up killing Monique and becoming a full-blown basehead after that, and was last seen at the end of Season 2 wandering the streets of Detroit. The first two seasons of BMF also presented another enemy, Detective Bryant, who was a one-time friend of Meech and former baseball coach turned employee getting a bag from Meech every month as Meech's cop on the payroll, keeping the cops off his back. Until B. Mickey killed J-Mo, a crime that Bryant was an accomplice in, but specifically told Meech to only ruffle his feathers. Because of this, Bryant went on demon time against the Flannery brothers, until being suspended from the police force at the end of Season 2 when his son Kevin killed a boy with the murder weapon Bryant had suppressed. And that was pretty much the Flannery brothers' only real ops throughout the first couple seasons, even though they did have some smoke with the 12th Street crew even before Lamar took it over in Episode 1, Season 1. They also had an issue with Saint at the end of Season 2, but that was settled real quick in Episode 1 without us even seeing Saint again, and some minor problems in Cleveland that were all taken care of. But this was all as Meech and T were coming up in the D, starting off getting work on consignment from Cat, to getting their own work from Big L, then getting 20 keys from K9 before becoming bosses, copping 300 keys from Cena and another 500 keys from Cena at the end of Season 2. But you know what they say, more money, more problems, and that is exactly what's going on with the Flannery brothers, as Meech tries to expand the BMF brand nationwide, and as T tries to fight for his throne in the D, more enemies are going to arise. And at the beginning of Season 3, we already see new ops coming into the picture. Meech is dealing with the Techwood crew, led by Remy Ransom, as well as the Miami Killerz in Atlanta, and T is dealing with Royal Oak back in the D. So starting off with Remy Ransom and his Techwood crew, because of the fact we were introduced to Remy briefly at the end of Season 2 when Meech went to Freaknik for the first time. A member of the PA crew named Shane laid hands on Remy's girl while dancing, which caused the whole scene as we got our first look at Remy Ransom. Later in the same trip when leaving Magic City, Remy's crew opened fire, killing Meech's longtime friend Ty Washington in the process. At the beginning of Season 3, we got a little insight to why Remy behaved the way he did, as we see that he's from the Techwood Projects. The Techwood Projects is so big, it's like a city within a city with its own streets and everything. But Atlanta just won the bid for the 1996 Olympics, which puts the Techwood Projects in jeopardy of being demolished. On top of that, there's a new crew in the area called the Miami Killerz who showed up in Atlanta trying to take over. So we can see that Remy's entire way of life is currently in jeopardy. Last time we saw Remy was at the end of Episode 1, and he was dropping off Meech's distro Dice and warning Meech that he'll send him back to Detroit in a body bag. We also know that Remy has a soft spot for his community, providing lunches for the kids in the neighborhood and walking them to school. We also found out that his little brother was killed when they were just kids. So because the fact that Remy walks the children from the neighborhood to school might be a weakness that his op, the Miami Killerz, use moving forward. I was told that Remy is based on Techwood. Said, I did do a little research and he might be, but I don't think he is because Techwood said is actually younger than Meech and Remy definitely looks like he's older than Meech, at least to me. Getting me to Remy's main op, that is the Miami Killerz, and this is based on the real life gang, the Miami Boys, who showed up in the 1980s and began to plant their flag in Atlanta by any means necessary. It is said that the Miami Boys were one of the most violent gangs in Atlanta history, if not the most violent. The Miami Boys were also in Atlanta making crazy bank at the same time also. They were getting product from Miami and taking it to Atlanta to sell it for more than double the price. And I don't expect the Miami Killerz to go away anytime soon because the real-life Miami Boys leader was arrested and sentenced to life in prison in 1999. But we can't expect the Miami Killerz power to weaken a lot when the coke stops coming in through Colombia and starts coming in through Mexico. At this point, the Miami Killerz might have to start buying from Meech. But in BMF Episode 1, Season 3, it was the Miami Killers who got in the shootout with the Techwood hitters that Meech and his crew found themselves in the middle of. Later that same episode, Meech went to the club to talk to Glock, the leader of the Miami Killers, but couldn't even get into the club when he was greeted outside by 2 bouncers and 2 Miami Killers soldiers, giving Meech the same message that Remy did, that he's not welcome in Atlanta. And in episode 2, it was the Miami Killers that had planned on killing Meech and his boy Duffy when they went to meet up with a guy named Santiago. But Loco, Meech's new plug, got the drop on the Miami Killers and saved Meech, taking out several Miami Killers in the process. In episode 3, it looks like we'll get our introduction to the Miami Killers leader, Glock, as Meech is at an event when Glock walks up to Meech asking him why he should give him a pass in his city. So the big question is, will Meech work something out with Glock? Will Meech agree to pay Glock some kind of tax or something like that? Or will Meech make friends with Remy Ransom, seeing that they have a mutual enemy, the Miami Killers? But that would also likely cause problems with Stacks if Meech did that also, because Remy did kill Ty Washington. Getting me to Henrietta, aka Royal Oak. Because the fact that Terry had taken over as the king of Detroit, when Cena got locked up, there was nobody else in the whole city to go to for product. Keep it in mind that K9, Big L, Boom, and Pat are all now out of the picture also. So this forced T to look to the burbs and to connect Sterling heard about through an associate of an associate. And out of desperation, T agreed on a really bad deal with Royal Oak before Meech hooked up with Loco. This caused T to end up insulting Royal Oak as he reneged on his agreement, creating a whole new enemy in the process. And at the end of the episode, Royal Oak killed Peaches so she could steal her connect and get a plug with pure weight. So the stepped-on product that T was going to be getting from Royal Oak isn't what she's going to be getting anymore, as she just got a new connect at the end of the episode. So now she'll become T's direct competitor in the Detroit coke game. We also found out that Royal Oak is the daughter of a former cop / old school gangster named Blaze. And to make matters worse for T, Blaze just assigned a desperate Detective Bryant to work for his daughter Royal Oak, leaving 2 Flannery brother ops in one camp. I don't know exactly who Royal Oak and Blaze are based after, but I'm sure they are definitely based on some real people because of the fact there was a lot of police corruption going on in Detroit at this time. So they might not be based off anyone specifically, but just giving an idea of the type of stuff that was actually going on in Detroit at this time though. If you do have any info on who any of these characters are based on, make sure to drop it in the comments section. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.